Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. I think I need to click this start video. How's
Yeah, there
that?
you are.
Now,
Hold on just a second, real quick. We got to start this right. Doesn't that just put you in a good mood?
it's fantastic. Hey, Jeb, the whole world's gone to shit. Why don't we take 30 minutes out, answer some questions, and have a few laughs? What do you reckon?
I think there's only one way that could be better, and that is with a glass of a little piece of your neck of the woods.
Oh, that's I'm going Sri Lankan. You're forcing me to daytime drink, so I'm going with the Sri Lankan arak that I got for my birthday last year, and we're reaching the bottom of the barrel. But Chapel Hill, McLaren Vale, it is a very, very nice winery you've got there.
We got this is the very last bottle that we got when you took us there and ran into several of your fans, as I recall.
Yes, yeah. Well, that doesn't happen often these days, but yeah. Hey, cheers. Here's to a great chat.
Here's to a great chat.
We are cooking. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of, well, actually we haven't settled on a name yet. Jeb and I, we got talking and we thought maybe there's somebody out there that may have a few questions for us. So we sent it out there. Now, I don't know whether you guys were just humoring us or there really are questions, but there are heaps. So for both of you watching, hi Mum, thank you for all the questions that have come in. Jeb, how are you, mate?
I'm great. It is so good to be here on your channel. I feel like I am down under.
Oh, yeah.
This is good. Hey, I have a question for you.
Yes, fire.
I have a question for you, and this one I think is a fair question that comes to us. Who of the two of us has the better haircut?
Well, I think that that question answers itself.
It's obvious.
Yes. You've got the better beard.
Yeah, I got more. Yeah, although I like your goatee. That's nice.
Yeah, this is COVID laziness. You probably grew that in 2 days. This has taken me 3 weeks.
Yeah, this is the COVID problem. It comes in faster.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
All right. How old are we?
51 and aging by the minute.
Oh shoot! How old am I? 37, and getting younger by the second.
Yeah. Well, can I just say, obviously, you know, COVID has aged you incredibly. It's probably about 10 years or so. Despite that, how have you managed to keep your rugged good looks?
Luck. Good luck. It's genetics.
Yeah.
I'd ask the same of you, but I stand a risk of answering another question we got, which is, let me make sure I get this right, Dennis. Are we dating?
No, but my wife and both my girlfriends are starting to get suspicious. So
that's good. That's good. Yeah. The answer to that is no, but you know, I think we both have done better.
Exactly. Yes. But then that said, you know, we are kindred spirits. We've come into this YouTube aviation world from the same place. We both work for the family business. We both travel a lot. For both of us as a side hobby, and both of us have got just a tiny little bit of an ego. So, you know.
Well, that's it. And I think
brothers.
Well, and I think that answers kind of a common theme question. So a lot of these were asked by many people, and a lot of people wonder what we do and why we traveled as much as we did. And Dennis hinted at it. We're both in family businesses, and we both travel for work. And I think it's fair to say we kind of stumbled into this hobby. And, you know, it has been a joy for both of us, particularly most recently for you, Dennis, Mr. 100K.
It had to happen eventually, didn't it?
And I want you to realize it happened for you during a pandemic when nobody can travel.
I know. That means that basically everybody was bored. Everybody'd finished with watching everything they wanted to on Netflix, right? Finally got around to watching my videos on YouTube and said, stuff it. Let's do it. Or they just felt sorry for me. But yeah, it was a long time coming. But I must say, it's just a number, but it feels nice, doesn't it?
Well, look, you said it well, man. I mean, let's not deny it. We both have egos. So it does feel good to think that number of people thought enough of us to click something.
Yes.
It's not saying you think a lot of us, but at least you're willing to click something. Where, when all this is over, where the first place we're going to travel would be. And my answer, I'm hard pressed to beat Australia. I just love your country. I have had the chance to travel a good bit around Australia and see a fair amount of it. Not enough by any stretch, but golly, I love it. I cannot wait to get back down there. What about you? Where are you going first?
Look, it's anywhere. But for me, the hardest has been not being in touch with our teams overseas and with mates such as yourself. So the first one has to be to Sri Lanka to see our office there and connect with our team there. Egypt, Cairo, we've got an office there. I've got to go and see the guys there. We're involved in a business in Slovenia, Ljubljana. We have Zoom meetings with them, and it's summer and they're enjoying the sunshine and stuff. I've got to get to Europe, meet with all our tour guides, etc., and then I've got to get over to the US. There's a small place, Greensboro, I think. It's a small place with a big heart. And,
I think it's fair to say, you are. It is up there in terms of your favorite places you visited.
Well, exactly. I was only there for about 36 hours, but those 36 hours left an impression that made me wanting more. So,
and as a travel expert, not only were you here for just such a short period of time, but you also booked 2 different hotels.
Exactly, and turned up at the wrong one.
There you go. So, I mean, that's impressive. This is an expert in travel and tourism right here, folks.
Exactly. Who would know that there would be 2 Hyatts in the same town with the same name?
You're welcome.
Yes. Look. What about yourself? Yeah, Australia is number one.
Well, it's number one. But now that you've sort of introduced the option to add more than just one place, I mean, man. So like in the doldrums of complete lockdown here in the U.S., I was just consuming so much travel content, like documentaries on YouTube. And I ended up going down this rabbit hole of everything I could get on Central Asia. So it is so high on my list. One of my favorite places I've ever visited was Mongolia. I just love that sort of nomadic history. And it's such an interesting part of world history that here in the U.S. anyway, we don't get to learn a lot about. It's not highlighted, and yet there's so much to see and experience. So the stands are high up for me.
Yeah. Well, COVID has dudded me out of 2 trips. One was in April where I was supposed to go to 12 different countries in Europe, including Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia to do tour guide training. And the second one, the stands, I was supposed to escort our very first departure in May. So by now I would have visited all of those places, and it's high on the list, definitely high on the list.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the world opens up when it's time to do it and how it does it. But hopefully, both of our countries will be open at a time that part of the world is open, so I can be on your first trip. I know your business is marketed mostly towards Australians, but I'll just stay quiet and pretend to be Australian and be at the back of the line and not draw any attention. But I want to be on that trip.
Part of our whole thing is now how do we open up bunny tours to the whole world? Bringing people into Australia and doing Australian tours, and then as well allowing people from around the world to join our tours. So, Jeb, you're more than welcome.
I'll be an American ambassador for you.
Yeah, it'll be great. Now, I'm talking about business. So, what do you do? What's your side job other than your YouTube channel? Tell me about your family business.
Yeah, so my brother and I own a sales training business. So what that means is think about any kind of like heavy equipment, capital equipment, industrial equipment, a lot of professional services, medical devices. All these things have to be sold, and
Yep.
sales organizations often want to bring some structure and process into the way they do that. So they partner with a company like ours, the Brooks Group, to help bring some formality, I'll say, to the way they sell. So it's a really interesting business. It's a great fun because we get to see how all the ways that a dollar gets made. You know what I mean? All the ways that companies go to market and create interesting things. So we've got that. My brother and I are doing a couple of other businesses as well to kind of to keep things interesting. I think it's not uncommon for people who are drawn to the YouTube environment to like to stay busy and have a lot of things going on. So I know you've got a couple of businesses too. So it's you got the main thing, and then you got all this other stuff going on as well. But I frequently get asked the question of like what do I do, and how do I make YouTube videos? Like, how does that come into be? And that was a theme of some questions we got here. What was your first video?
My first video was Qantas first class, and a points upgrade from business class to first class. It was on an A380, which ironically are all now in the USA and in deep storage. But I heard from Qantas yesterday they are definitely coming back eventually.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it took off from there. What was your first one?
My very first one, it was one of the ones I didn't like speak on it. I was too nervous to say anything. And it was basically just pictures of a Delta flight from Atlanta to Honolulu. The only time you could see me was I had at the closing scene, I had my feet in the Pacific Ocean saying, "Thank you, Delta." But that was what kind of kicked it off. And then I did a Air France La Premiere also on the A380, which was my first like legitimate video. Yeah.
Fantastic. You with your feet in the Pacific Ocean stuff, you're just like an Instagram influencer or something. Is this what happened? You were an Instagram influencer with 200,000 followers.
It's my dream.
Pictures, living the best life, and then suddenly you thought, "Oh, well, let me take this onto YouTube."
Yeah, no, I think I was pushing 20 followers on Instagram at that time, like 20.
Oh yeah. Hey, I've got a serious question for you here, because we literally do have probably about 7 episodes worth of questions. So for all of you watching, if you can tell your friends about it, because if you watch this and the views are up, we'll actually do all 7 episodes. Otherwise, we're going to, this has been it. This is it. And these episodes will be on alternate channels. So apparently the first one's on mine and the second one's on yours. It should actually be the other way around, because you've got the far bigger following. You've got the masses out there. You're like almost at 1 million followers compared to me.
But you're the new kid on the block with like the latest to hit 100,000. I mean, you're the hot stuff right now.
I'm massive in Adelaide. And that just says a lot.
Do you really have you probably have trouble like getting out on the streets, and like do you wear like the glasses with a big nose and a mustache and a hat to hide?
No, this big nose is actually natural.
That's terrible. All
right, question. How far in advance do you guys book your premium cabin seats? I've heard that it's best to do it about 2 weeks ahead of the flight, or 11 months out, but not in between.
Okay, you may contradict what I'm about to say, but I find that the sort of tricks of the trade of booking times have kind of gone away. In my experience, aviation pricing algorithms, airline pricing algorithms have gotten a lot smarter. It used to be like you book on a Tuesday because that's when they load the new fares in. And if you're 2 weeks out, there were all these different kind of tricks of the trade that if you knew somebody, you could learn. I think those have gone away, Dennis, at least in my experience.
Yeah. Certainly from Australia here, everything is long haul. So the best cheap deals on premium seats tend to be long in advance, because it's all yield management. So the more seats that have been booked, the more expensive the remaining seats are. We will try for our business travel stuff here, and what we advise our clients is to try and book as far out as possible. Yes, there are always some last minute deals, but that's only if there's nobody flying. So, and in terms of trying to get frequent flyer seats, yeah, if you're trying to use points, then definitely book as far out as you possibly can, especially if you're trying to do it with a family, you say in business class, you've got lots of points. The seats are at least 11.5 months out. And that's that sweet spot. But then if you don't get it, then obviously keep trying.
Probably on this episode, Dennis, I bet we have time for 2 more questions. Oh, this is a big question, though.
Is it?
What's the biggest life lesson both of you have learned over the years, and would you like to share it with us? And you cannot answer the second part with a no.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome. I think we all suffer it at various stages, yeah, through life and through our careers and stuff like that. The biggest thing that I've learned over the years is just to go for it. And if you wait until you're an expert in a field and then go for it, you're never actually going to do it, because you don't have the confidence to do it. We just had our staff meeting here this week where we're in a business that has been completely shut down by the government. International borders are closed. We're in an island fortress. We're one of 3 countries in the world where you have to actually ask the government permission to leave, right? So even if we wanted to fly overseas, we couldn't. There's a do not travel warning to New Zealand. Since the 15th of March, our business has had 0 revenue. Now, we don't know whether the borders are going to open in March next year, in July next year, or sometime in 2022. We got no control over that. But what we can do is control our reaction. And we know that we're going to be one of the companies that survive this, because we came into this with a good, solid business model. Yeah. So now we just got to go for it. And the only way you do that is to have faith and confidence in yourself, and not be have this doubt about being an imposter syndrome. Because everybody, right, from the Prime Minister, the President, whoever, right, is just an ordinary person who every morning and every night should be brushing their teeth, and I'm assuming they do, right, like we all do, right? And they're just making it up as they go along, right, based upon their experience and knowledge and stuff. So yeah, how's that for a deep answer?
That's powerful. But I do have a quick follow-up. Did you say you're supposed to brush your teeth twice a day?
Yes. Yeah. But so the top one's in the morning and the bottom one's in the afternoon.
So twice a day. I thought it was twice a week.
See, and that's why you're living alone.
I am not. Hey, let me answer the question equally deeply. And I promise this is not a prop. Like, this was literally here, because I always keep it very close to me. As a reminder, the question was, what's the biggest life lesson you've learned? And it comes to me out of this book. I don't know if you know this book, The 4 Agreements.
All right.
Yeah, this is an amazing, amazing book. And it's got some kind of like heavy stuff to it in the first part. But if you kind of get to what it is, it's basically, if you live by these 4 principles, I'll call them, he calls them agreements, your life becomes a whole lot easier. So if you just read those 4 chapters, it really opens up some amazing freedom. So the first is be impeccable with your word, which is about saying what you mean, meaning what you say, being careful, not gossiping about people, not saying bad things about people. The second is not to take anything personally, which I want to come back to, because there's no better teacher than YouTube about that one. Third, don't make assumptions. Don't assume, as you would say. Ask clarification questions to really understand. And finally, always do your best.
Yeah.
And if you just live by those 4 principles, life is so much easier. But particularly, not to take anything personally. This is what held me back from starting a YouTube channel for so long, I was so concerned about what other people would think. What would my colleagues at the Brooks Group think? What would my friends think? What would people say on the internet about me? And like that held me back from doing my best, right? From having a good time and bringing this joy, certainly to my life, and I also think to many other people's lives. It prevented me from meeting you until we did. I mean, which was good for you, not great for me. And and all these things, because I was taking things personally. And Dennis, I know you get your share of ridiculous comments, and I choose not to really play into that too much because I think it just feeds itself, and then you get more of them. But these comments that people make have nothing to do with me.
No.
No matter what you're saying about me, you're just telling me something about yourself. Anyway, I would say the biggest life lesson comes right out of this book, The Four Agreements. And if you haven't read it, I really recommend you take a look at it. It's a killer book. So
actually, I'm going to read that. Not taking things personally is really important in all of this. Everybody on YouTube gets crap and it's very easy with the keyboard warriors these days to talk, but we can't wallow in self-pity, and in this time at the moment, we're all got our ups and downs and this sort of stuff. But all we can do is keep moving forward and keep going ahead. And then some of those comments actually make me laugh. And
they're all hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Engagement's good. Now, my last question, sorry, for you is, you seem to have some sort of bionic arm.
Oh yeah, I should have addressed this earlier because the people who left, they'll are not watching at this point in the video will have a curious question about what this is. Yes. So I shared this news with the people who are subscribed to my email newsletter, which is a real small number of people. But otherwise,
I'm not subscribed to your email newsletter.
Dennis, I will.
You did one.
I will violate canned spam and sign you up myself. No, I'm just kidding.
So stop everything. Give it a plug. How do we get onto this piece of?
So I don't know if you know this, but I'm Jeb Brooks from greenergrass.com. And if you go to greenergrass.com, you can sign up. In fact, just today, I launched a new website. A brand new greenergrass.com is live. But you're distracting me from answering your first question.
Sorry.
Or I should clarify, as I would learn in the Four Agreements, I'm distracting myself from answering your question. I broke my hand, I'll call it, mountain biking. I crashed. I did some stupid stuff, and that's what happens. So, but they say if you're not crashing, you're not riding, and I'm not riding for about 6 weeks.
Were you showing off for your girlfriend?
Oh yeah, just in general. You got to keep the creative director happy, No, look, I'm not quite as young
as you used to be.
Yes. I used to be able to do things that I can no longer do. That's what age will do. Hey, one final question for this episode, and there's at least one more episode to come, so don't worry. And it comes to us from, I'm going to name this person because it was the only person who asked this particular question. Again, I want to get it right. Paul Stewart, as he says when he's doing an American accent, said, "Which city has more culture and class, Adelaide or Wollongong?"
Well, I was very lucky to be in Wollongong for the weekend about 3 weeks ago. I did require 2 weeks of strict quarantine here in Australia as a result. So I can confirm that the rash has almost gone. So there is definitely more culture in Wollongong. I'm not sure if it's the right type of culture. It's a beautiful town.
We should clarify that for your non-Australian viewers, that the quarantine coming out of Wollongong is actually not related to COVID. That's always in place, right?
Yes. Yeah. It is actually a beautiful part of the world. They've got a few restaurants, a few bars and stuff. So they've got some craft beer. They've got an aircraft museum, Haas, just down the road. They've got almost everything that you would want, except for the culture that Adelaide obviously has, and The vibe, the vibe.
I get it. I mean, my answer is Hobart. I prefer Hobart, but I'm an odd duck.
Hobart is very popular with the Americans. Tasmania is very popular with the Americans.
I love Tasmania. Like, no joke, I have been looking at property in Tasmania. I mean, I'm learning how to emigrate. So you might need to sponsor me.
You could be my sponsor child.
I'm happy. I'm happy to be a bunnick. Hey, look, we don't have a way to like sign off, but I think we should bring this to a close. So maybe you should like have some sort of signature catchphrase.
Well, I'm already a little bit worried that really all I've become is a bloody middle-aged YouTuber with a catchphrase, right? Cheers, here's to a great flight. Don't be a dickhead by wearing your pajamas in economy class. And, you know, until next time, happy travels. Do I need another one? And if I do need another one, what would it be?
You know, I think this is maybe less. This is going to get less attention in all likelihood than a video about a flight. So I think it's just, you can really emphasize the don't be a dickhead thing. I think you just embrace that side of you. All right, we'll catch you on the next one.
It's been great chatting to you. Should we record the second episode right now, straight after this first one?
I think so.
That way, to all 17 people listening and watching this, go onto Jeb's channel. Right, that's Jeb Brooks from greenergrass.com. And he will have episode 2 up on his channel at some stage in the future, because we haven't worked that bit out yet either.
No, we really don't know what we're doing.
And more questions and answers. Literally,
I mean, I think all in. Not that this is what you were asking. I think we've got 200 questions. Maybe more.
At this rate, it's going to take us 150 episodes to get through them.
Well, there were at least 5 minutes that I had not pressed record or pressed the timer, and it's at 25 minutes. So that's a 30.
Hey, we'll see you in the next one. See you in the sky.
Oh, I thought we'd done. So I was like all like serious about the time. Anyway.
So are we done, or are we still? No, I think we're still going. I think the end is actually coming in at about 4 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy travels.